The Honourable Steve Whan.
Is this the second country?
Madam Deputy President, I rise to support the comments by my colleagues in this debate and to compliment Mick Veitch on the work that he's done on this issue in moving an amendment to the original bill which highlighted the flaws in the original bill in that it did not apply to the people that really needed it. And I acknowledge that in moving this legislation in the other place, the then Parliamentary Secretary had the good grace to acknowledge the Honourable Mick Veitch's work, a good grace which was not carried on, as I understand it, by the member for Orange in his contribution today, where he decided to clown around instead of dealing substantively with these issues. We've seen in this state, since this government came to office, an absolutely disgraceful display of slogans instead of regional development policy. This is a government which came to office with a half-page regional development policy, a half-page. It then put in place the failed regional relocation scheme, again a scheme which the government has removed and done so because of the flaws which were pointed out from day one. And we've then seen them and and delay on this bill to the point where, with 6 months later, after the opposition moved sensible amendments in this place to the original bill, we then see the government coming back with Mark II to try and actually take up the points made by the Honourable Mick Veitch, but try and make it look like it was the government taking action. We've seen in the Central West and around regional New South Wales a jobs crisis developing, Central West particularly. But regional New South Wales employment figures are an absolute disgrace. And it is disgraceful that we see this government day after day, and particularly the minister at the table, who gets up day after day and claims that they are creating jobs. The ABS's last figures for regional New South Wales show very clearly now that there is 16,000 less people employed outside of Sydney, Newcastle and Wollongong than there was when this government came to office. That's a figure from April 2011 to September 2014. 16,000 less people employed. And we see over and over again this government get up and lie about job creation. They say they've created jobs. They don't tell you what the net figure is. They don't tell you how many have been lost in the same period. And the net figure tells you that the job situation in regional New South Wales is getting worse. It is a disgrace. The minister at the table told the people of Monero a week or so ago they'd never had it so good. Never had it so good is exactly what he said in the Parliament a week or so ago.
The member will resume his seat. There's a point of order from the Minister.
Madam Deputy President, the reality is my point of order is relevance. The member is frothing at the mouth about all manner of things. This is about a specific bill, and I'd ask you to bring it back to the bill.
To the point of order,
to the point of order.
This is a bill about payroll tax, which one would have thought was about jobs in regional New South Wales.
I get the gist of your point of order. There is no point of order.
Thank you, Madam Deputy President. We've seen in the capital region, which the minister at the table doesn't understand, does not include the ACT in the ABS figures. In the capital region,
you don't understand where the capital region.
Order. Interjections.
The minister at the table is interjecting that the capital region includes the ACT, not in the ABS figures.
Well, that's not what you said.
And the ABS figures for the capital region show us that there is now 2,300 more people unemployed in September 2014 than there were in April 2011. And that is a direct result of a combination of the policies of the Abbott government.
They changed their method in 2013.
And the failure to address these issues by the current New South Wales government. Let's look also then at the small area labour market figures, where they did change their method in the recent times. So you can only compare there from December 2012. But what we see from December 2012 is figures where in the Monero electorate on local government boundaries there is now 804 more people unemployed than there was when this government came to office. So in Bombala in December 2012.
Point of order, the Honourable Mick Veitch.
Madam Deputy President, I'm having a great difficulty hearing the excellent contribution from my colleague over the diatribe being hurled across the chamber by the government whip.
I remind, I don't know, there is no need to contribute to the point of order. I remind all members that interjections are disorderly at all times.
Thanks, Madam Deputy President. And we are talking here about Federal Department of Employment figures in the small area labour market figures, not ABS figures. Bombala in December 2012, 31 people unemployed. June 2014, 70. Kumamonero, 188 people unemployed, now 297. Palarang, 99 people unemployed, now 297 for Kumamonero, 207 for Palarang. Queanbeyan, 405 in December 2012, now 731. Snowy River, 81 people unemployed, now 145. And they're smooth figures from the small area labour market figures from the Federal Department of Employment, which, as members would know, are based on an assessment of people receiving benefits in those areas. So they're quite accurate, despite the fact that obviously monthly figures are quite small. And I don't quote the unemployment figures for those because the department itself says that they are too small to be viable figures on too small a sample. So we've got clear indications on figures which in small areas obviously are volatile and obviously do change, but a clear trend which is showing us that unemployment is going up in regional New South Wales and that this government's policies simply are not addressing those issues. And it's nowhere more apparent than when you look at, well, firstly in the capital region, the failure to stand up to the Abbott government. But it's nowhere more apparent than the area that we're often talking about with the orange area in the Central West, manufacturing, where we're seeing our state, unfortunately, left behind when it comes to elaborately transformed product, particularly agricultural product and exports of those products. Now, it is to be hoped that the federal government's free trade agreement with China includes the whole range of agricultural and food products, and that New South Wales actually takes action to take advantage of that when it is signed, because so far we simply haven't seen it. This government's idea of agricultural trade is to send a department person along to a meeting with Norco when they were negotiating their fresh milk deal, a deal which was actually put together by an organisation who'd been desperately seeking access to funds held by the government on behalf of industry for some time. It's a government which thinks that the former Deputy Premier leading trade missions to China is the only thing you have to do, when what you actually have to do is get in at the ground
Minister,
level.
on a point of order.
Look, just again, relevance. We're now in China. We're off on free trade deals. We're off on industry policy. I'm not sure where the member wants to go next, but I just think it's important you bring him back to the remit of the bill.
I remind the member to speak to the relevancy of the bill. Member, continue.
Thanks, Madam Deputy President. And of course, directly relevant to jobs in regional New South Wales, one would have thought that the minister at the table would have understood that exports to Asia and the growth markets in Asia are directly relevant to jobs in New South Wales and regional New South Wales in particular, and the payroll tax side of things are pretty critical as well. The arrogance of the minister at the table, you don't understand it, just get on with it. We've got probably one of the most naive and blindly following people that I've seen in this chamber, who tells the people of the Monero region that they have never had it so
good. The member will
good.
resume his seat when there's a point of order. I've warned him before, and I also remind him he's on 2 calls. The Honourable Trevor Card on a point of order.
He's playing that he's not speaking to the bill. He's now launching into attack on the minister. I ask that you bring him back to the leave of the bill once more.
To the point of order, Madam.
To the point of order.
Deputy President. The minister at the table has been warned against interjecting and is continually interjecting and prompting responses. And yes, I apologise for responding to his interjections, but he's
that's
out
not
of order.
to the point of order. I'm happy to rule on the point of order and also remind the member that he should learn to ignore interjections and not respond to them. And also I remind him again to speak to the bill.
Madam Deputy President, thank you. And we have great opportunities in New South Wales if only we had a government which wanted to do more than just put out slogans. Now, this is a positive bill today, but it's one which has taken far too long. It's taken the opposition to prompt it and the good work of the Honourable Mick Veitch. It's a government, though, which is missing opportunities. Victoria, we are seeing manufacturing, employment in elaborately transformed food products, manufacturing, since this government has been in office, has overtaken New South Wales for the first time ever. Overtaken New South Wales for the first time ever. Because they have had a series of governments, from the Labor governments in the late 90s right through and including the current government, which is about to be kicked out in Victoria, who have actually got involved on the ground floor and assisted these industries to develop, to find the export markets and to develop the products and the manufacturing in that state to take advantage of it. We've seen the Labor opposition in Victoria just announce a policy for farmers, new farmers to come in, and an Asian export trade policy. It is something that is sorely missing in this state. This bill is a very small step to improving the situation, but it's a very small step, and this government has a hell of a long way to go before it's doing meaningful work to rectify the problem that we have in New South Wales in not taking advantage of the potential markets.